the main focus of the show, which you can see him. This is Leroy, 2010. When I first came up with the idea of Leroy, I originally just wanted to create a monster which would be my creativity. I like to think of my creativity as a monster that just kind of demands being constructed, not necessarily kind of demands anything but living from me. Like, it doesn't demand to express a certain, I guess, like a term or a message. It kind of just wanted to be. And I named it Leroy because, like Dr. Frankenstein's monster, I didn't want everyone to get confused and call it, Houston or Todd. I didn't want it to end up being called Frankenstein for all history. And Leroy kind of applies to popular culture for me. I played, for a long time, World of Warcraft, and many people will probably cringe right now. But Leroy wasn't necessarily just a World of Warcraft pop phenomenon kind of thing. It was also a YouTube frenzy. It became like a huge, widely spread joke. Anytime you do anything crazy and out of just kind of out of regular thinking, you would just scream Leroy Jenkins. And so I ended up naming the piece Leroy kind of because I felt like I was breaking out of that comfort zone of just putting all my paintings 58 inches from the ground, center and everything. And also it's somewhat dimly lit to give it more depth, and it just kind of gives it that ominous look. I also constructed this beast too out of everything I used to paint. Like, he is basically a construction, like, of a canvas just gone wrong. And so that was another way that he's Leroy. And you can see the axe, which is kind of like a metaphorical, not necessarily metaphorical, it's very literal. You can either interpret it as I'm slaying the beast and I'm ending kind of his reign and his dominion over myself, or I'm putting a little bit of blood in the waters to chum the waters to get like stir up more creativity. And I like to think the latter, but you don't really, you can do something with one intention and completely miss that. So hopefully everybody gets the latter from me. On Leroy, each painting is kind of individually has its own respect. I painted this painting, the theme song of the public, or of the people, and it's based off of the theme, or it's based off the song "Feel Good Inc." by Gorillaz. And when I painted this painting, I introduced this. Okay. And Leroy is not just a construction himself, but he's also comprised of individual paintings, which each has to kind of have its own respect. I painted each one individually, and each one individually creates the monster, Leroy. And this painting here is the theme song of the people. And it's based off the song Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. And when I painted it, I literally listened only to Feel Good Inc. By the Gorillaz. And I just listened to it over and over and over and over. And I just kept painting as I was listening to it. So this is the end result, taking kind of core feelings and subjects from the song and applying it to this canvas. So I could literally spend hours going over each painting, because each painting in its own respect has its own story, and I did it in a certain state of mind. My prints, I did it in a state of mind of not knowing what to do, and eyes being kind of one of my focuses, inspiring insomnia. If ever I don't have a subject, I always retreat to the eye. It's like probably the most complicated structure and probably the most interesting. But so if you come forward, you can actually see I placed triangles for this show specifically, just for foot placement, because to kind of get the imminent threat of the creature, Leroy. You can see inside my two-part ghost heart, which is just an expression of kind of the same feelings of despair and transparency that I try to reveal to people through that work. It's very simple. It's all done with black, red, and white and blue, and that's the end result. One of the things too is it took quite a while. Like, I know it seems very haphazardly done, but it took quite a while to decide where everything went. I think ultimately it took a lot to decide what went where, but in the end I think everything made it to its rightful place.